everyone! In this video, we are going to learn how to do accounting for preferred shares. In a previous lesson, we learned that preferred shares have priority over ordinary shares in dividend distribution and distribution of assets in liquidation. However, preferred shares normally do not have voting right. Therefore, companies can issue preferred share to raise capital without sacrificing control of the corporation. When a corporation issues preferred shares, we use separate capital accounts for preferred shares. The share capital preferred shares account is used to record the par value of the shares issued, and the share premium preferred shares is used to record the amount above the par value. You can see that the accounting for preferred shares issuance is very similar as the accounting for ordinary shares. Next, we talk about the dividends of preferred shares. A preferred share usually has a stated dividend that is expressed as a percentage of its par value. This is very similar as debt interest. However, paying dividends to preferred shareholders is not a legal liability. It is totally okay and common for companies to not declare and pay dividends on preferred shares in some period. Whether the missed dividends will be made up depends on whether the shares are cumulative or non-cumulative. If the shares are cumulative, then the unpaid dividends will accumulate. We call the unpaid dividend in arrears. Later, when the company has enough cash flows to pay dividends, the preferred shareholders have the right to be paid both the current and all the previous period's unpaid dividends, and they can be paid before the ordinary shareholders. On the other hand, if the preferred shares are not cumulative, then the shareholders have no rights to the missed dividends. They only have the preference for the current year dividends. For example, a company has both ordinary shares and preferred shares. In 2019, the directors did not declare a dividend. In 2020, the directors declared cash dividends of $50,000. The dividend for the preferred shares equals $8,000. If the preferred shares are not cumulative, then the preferred shareholders have no rights to the missed dividends in 2019. They would only receive $8,000 for 2020 dividend, and the remaining $42,000 would be divided evenly among the ordinary shareholders. On the other hand, if the preferred shares are cumulative, then the preferred shareholders have the rights to the missed dividend of 2019, as well as the dividends of current year. They will first get a distribution of $8,000 for the missed dividends in previous year and get another $8,000 for current year dividends. The remaining $34,000 would be divided evenly among the ordinary shareholders. Another feature related to preferred shares dividend is participation. A participation preferred share gives its holder the possibility of participation in the additional earnings when the company is successful. In most cases, preferred shares dividends are non-participating, meaning that dividends are limited each year to a maximum amount. This maximum amount is usually the stated dividend rate. Any remaining amount are received by ordinary shareholders. However, if the preferred dividends are participating, then the preferred shareholders, they can receive fixed dividends plus additional dividends to share ratably in distribution with ordinary shareholders. For example, if a company has preferred shares with dividend rate of 6%, and the company pays common shareholders dividends that are valued as 9% of common par value. 9% is higher than the 6%. If the preferred shareholders have no participating right, they might be unhappy with the fact that their fixed dividend rate is lower than the common holders' return. However, if they have participating right, then the participation will give them the right to receive more. They will get additional dividends. The company will distribute an additional dividend to the preferred shareholders to ensure that preferred shareholders receive an equivalent dividend as ordinary shareholders. Other common features of preferred shares include conversion and callability. A convertible preferred share gives holders the option of exchanging their preferred shares into ordinary shares at a specified rate. A callable preferred share gives a right to the corporation to buy back the shares from shareholders at a specified price. This buyback action is also called callback. So we say this type of shares are callable preferred shares. When shares are called, the corporation needs to pay dividends in arrears to the preferred shareholders at first. Thank you.